glad you joined me today. We're going to go through the process of creating a discussion board from start to finish. Along the way, I'm going to share with you some pro tips to help you get your students to do exactly what you want them to do and to make your discussion boards beautiful. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make a discussion board from start to finish. I put my discussion boards under reading responses or discussion boards depending on the class, but I have this general category made, and you can see here I've indicated that it's 40% of the course, the totality of all the discussion of the reading responses slash discussion boards. So first thing I'm going to do is click add an assignment. Then I'm going to name the assignment discussion board 1. Now you can put a description in here. I'll put this in later and I'll show you how to do that. All my assignments are 100 points. I do that because it makes it easier for the students. One day they get a 70 and they're like, why did I get a 70? I should have gotten 100. Next day they get 100 and they're like, well, they got an F because it's supposed to be 200. So just make them all 100 and use the percentages of the course to balance out your assignments. Now I'm going to add this to reading responses. That's the group it's in. The type of assignment, it's a discussion. It's a new assignment. Now what's the due date? Let's see, this class starts on the 4th. So my due date is going to be Thursday the 6th. All right, now why did I pick Thursday? Because if you don't pick Thursday, what happens is your students don't get notified that their work's going to be late on their discussion board. You want that initial post to come in by Thursday so that they have time to respond to their classmates by Sunday. So some students will get a little bit upset and they'll say, well, wait a minute, my assignment says that it's late, and you can say, well, you just explain to them, no, it's as long as you get the Thursday one in, the initial post in first, don't worry about the rest of it, you're going to be okay. All right, so we'll go to discussion board. You can see that it's not published yet. So we're going to click on the blue discussion board to the right here. All right, edit the discussion topic. Now what I'm going to do before I do anything else is I am going to get something to start working with. It'll save you a lot of time. So I'm going to open up the same thing in another tab. So I've opened up another class that I've done, and this is from the sample class that we're using, okay? And then you can play with this once it's done, but it saves you so much time. So what I'm going to do is hit edit on this class right here. And you'll see all the coding is in here, how I'm using asterisks and pluses and minuses to code the text. So I'm going to left click, drag it up, right click, copy, don't cut it, just copy it, hit save. Okay, now I can close that and I can max this back out. I'm going to right click on my screen here. I'm going to hit paste, and look at that. Everything that I was using is now in there. So you see, the first thing I tell my students is by Thursday, and then they're going to have their assignment. So I'm going to go right now into my syllabus, and I'm going to get the name of the assignment and what's going on here, and I will start putting that in. And we'll go down here and we'll see that let's see here. Reading response 1, Sin, chapter 24 from Grudem. So I'll put that up in the title. We've now augment that. Sin, chapter 24, Grudem. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in between the lines. See how I have the asterisk and the plus sign, then the plus sign and the asterisk? If you want to know how to do that, what you do is this. You click on the formatting guide. You see that little right there? Left click it. It's going to open up. And it tells you, if you want bold, put asterisks at each side. If you want italics, a line at each side. Notice there's no space between the word and the asterisk or the pound sign. That's important. If you leave a space, it won't work. And then if you want highlighted text, use a plus sign. And if you want to combine those, you just put them together. And it gives you an example right here, asterisk and the underline sign. So you have don't go overboard like that. See? And then if you want to use emoji, click on this here, and it takes you to another location. And here are all the emojis that you can use. So if you want to use, the easiest way to do it is just to highlight one. So let's take this guardsman right here. Or I'll do the skull because that's appropriate for Bible college, right? I'm just going to copy it and paste it. And we'll go back here. And when I put it in, it's right there. Now you can see I have bear under there. I would encourage you. I put bear under everything that I post. A little image of a bear. That's kind of like my little signature. Go find one of those animals in there and put that in there and make that your little personalized signature. It's a little personal touch for your students. Okay, so we're looking at discussion board 1. We're talking about sin, chapter 24 from Grudem. So by Thursday, I've given them a very clear indication, not if you feel like it or maybe, but by Thursday, period. The more black and white that you can comment to your students, the better. Take special notice of those students who become confused by your instructions and alter your instructions to make sure that those students understand. After a few alterations, you'll have instructions that every student can understand and no one will be able to misunderstand. And if you're lucky, you'll get a student like I had my first quarter teaching online who looked for the loophole in every rule and helped me become a better online professor. All right, so by Thursday, read Grudem, chapter 24, and answer the following questions. Based on your reading. Now this may seem obvious, but this is a theology class and many of our students have, we have people that are students that have 20 years of ministry, and they will try to answer these questions from memory. And I tell them, I'm not interested in what you already know, I want to know what you read. And the reason for that is because if you only tell me what you know and do not interact with the material, then you're not going to learn or grow. You're going to come out of the class the same way you went into the class. So, based on your reading, write a definition of sin. Number 2, actually I'm going to move this up here. Put a space there, and I'm going to put this in bold, so I'll add an italics on each side. Okay, write a definition of sin. Question number 2, explain, are there degrees of sin? Explain. Again, if you do not say explain, you will get a one-word answer. And the student will be justified in telling you, well, I answered the question. Number 3, I'm going to ask the students, how does sin impact our relationship with God? And now, explain how reading this chapter has increased your understanding of the impact actually I'm going to say increase your awareness of sin in your life. Okay, now here it tells the students in no uncertain terms this initial post is 60% of the grade. Okay, this is how I've gotten them to respond to each other. Now it says by Sunday, so they understand there's a clear delineation here. The student will respond to the posts of at least 2 classmates, and there's a word count. Occasionally you'll get a student that doesn't need to use a word count, and you can make a special exception for them. Just let them know privately you're doing that. I have one student that can say in 60 words what a lot of people can't say in 200. But most students try to use a bunch of fluff. So yes, I agree. Great post and comments of that type will not suffice for the bulk of your response. Actually, what I'm going to say is the student will respond to question 4. Because that's the one that has, number 4 is the one that has kind of the personal stuff and the emotional stuff, and you're not really going to expand on the rest of that stuff. So we'll go with that. And a couple of instructions that are helpful. Do not quote scripture, chapter and verse references are sufficient. And I'm also going to ask them to do not emote or gush unless specifically asked for your feelings. Okay. And then you can add things on here. Sometimes I'll add in things like MLA formatting. If you want MLA formatting, you can add in there a minimum word count per response, things like that. This is important here. I have on here responses to the other students' challenge questions are each worth 20% of the final grade. That way the students know that they're going to be only able to get a 60 if they don't respond to the fellow students. Well, let's see how this looks. We're going to hit save. We're not going to publish it yet. Does it look the way I want? All right, so the stuff I want highlighted by Thursday looks good. Initial post looks good. Sunday looks good. See right there. I don't want that right there. I'm going to remove that little line right there. So I'm going to go back to edit. Remove that. Says everything I want it to say. Now, while you have this open like this, I want you to do this. I want you to left click, highlight the whole thing, right click, copy. Okay, and you'll see why in a minute. All right, so now we're going to save and we're going to publish. All right, and we're going to go now from here. So it's up and it's published. If you don't have it published, your students won't be able to see it or access it. You're going to go over here and you're going to hit assignment page. All right, and now you see where it says edit right there on the corner. Click edit. Now watch this. I'm back in that description box we left open earlier. I'm going to right click and paste. Everything that I just did in that discussion board is now in there with all of the formatting. So this is kind of cool. I'm going to hit save. Boom. It's all right there. So if the student chooses to come into their assignment incorrectly by going through assignments instead of going the right way, it's going to take them here and they're going to see this. And so that way they're never going to be confused. Now, one more place we're going to put this assignment, though, is we're going to go into lessons, and we're going to go into lesson 1, and we're going to design, and we're going to add this assignment. So I'm going to go right below my attendance. Typically, I always follow the same order, so I'll usually go introductory videos, attendance, study questions, discussion board, memorization exercises. I keep them all in the same order. Okay, so we're going to go add an assignment below, and it came up with the only option that's available right now. All right, require students to complete this assignment. Yes, and we're going to hit save. There it is. Now I want some text below it, right, to explain what it is. So watch this. I'm going to go back. This time I'm going to highlight it this way. I don't think the bear will transfer over, but I'm going to left click it. I'm not going to go into the formatting. I'm just going to click it right like it is. Copy. And then I'm going to go back to lessons. And I'm going to open this bad boy up in design. Go right below discussion board, and I'm going to hit the plus sign, add content below. I'm going to right click it. Let's see what we get. Oh, I forgot. I have to hit control. I have to use control V. So control V. Look at that. There's even highlighting on there. So I don't have to do much of it at all. I'm going to highlight these, and I want to get something by them, so I'm going to put some numbers there. Oops, that won't work. Treat the whole thing as a whole document. That's not good. Well, I can leave it like that, really. It looks good. The student will know what they're supposed to do. All their instructions are there, right? Hit save. Boom. So now let's see how it looks. So I don't like the way it's all the way over like that. So what I'm going to do is go back in, and I'm going to open it back up by clicking on the pencil. And I'm going to use this guy right here to move the whole thing over. See how I moved that whole thing over to the right? And let's go back down to save. And back to look at it. And that lines up perfectly, so that looks better. Okay, so now what you want to do is just double check. You want to click here to go into your discussion board. There it is. I'm in it. Students can, that's exactly how it's going to work for the students, and they can start posting right there. They have clear questions to answer. They have clear expectations, and they have the dates are very clear to them when it's supposed to be done.